The 2017 to 2018 CSUN Executive Board have been sworn in yesterday, but the race to the Executive Board certainly wasn't clean. We have an exclusive report coming up.
Also, we continue with a 4-part report about the rise of heroin abuse in Nevada. We have all this and more. You're watching Studio G.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome to the last Wednesday episode of Studio G. I'm Jessica Vargas.
And I'm Jamie Poole.
May 1st, or May Day, is International Workers' Day. People across the globe took the day to protest and show support for workers' rights. Here in Las Vegas, around 3,000 people marched down the Strip. The Culinary Union, which organized the event, is Nevada's largest union and largest immigrant organization. They call the event the Unity March for Immigrants and claim that half of their 57,000 workers are Latin women. In Chicago and Philadelphia, organizers used May Day to protest for better teachers' contracts.
We've been in a winter, not just a winter of cold and dark, but a winter in which we've seen the schools cut. We've seen critical programs for students under threat. We've seen a dark shadow come over the politics in our country. This has been a winter of our politics. This has been a winter for our hope. But spring comes. It always comes. May Day reminds us that as long as we can stick together, as long as we can find warmth in each other, spring will come. Our day will come. We stand for something true. We stand for something more important than the base politics of blaming others and being afraid of foreigners.
Protests in some cities and countries turned violent, but Metropolitan Police called the Las Vegas protests, quote, super peaceful. No arrests were made.
The abuse of heroin is a growing epidemic in Nevada. Studio G reporter Samantha Kayamalu did an investigative study on the matter. Yesterday, we got to hear from former addicts what life is like being addicted to the drug. Today, we find out how heroin got here and what it does to our bodies.
Heroin is considered to be the most dangerous drug of the century. It has no boundaries or specific target group. An opiate is the chemical that comes from opiums. Narcotics that can be found in your medicine cabinet like codeine, oxycodone, hydrocodone, and more are all opiate-like. Because they are man-made, they are known as opioids. Heroin affects your brain in a number of ways. The main way it does is by exerting powerful pain relief to the rest of the body. Chemicals flood the system and latch onto millions of opioid sectors throughout the body. Feel-good chemicals like endorphins are natural opioids that dull pain and also give you a rush. The problem with man-made opioids is that they mimic endorphins, and taking too many can overwhelm the system. This could give you too much of a rush that can lead to dependence or abuse. Addiction becomes an even bigger problem because opioids can slow down your breathing, heart rate, and a number of other things. Every 19 minutes, someone dies of an accidental prescription drug overdose. It is now more common than dying in a car crash. More than 7 tons of heroin was seized in the United States in just 2015. That's about 15,000 pounds. Almost all of hard narcotics in America come from drug cartels in Mexico and Colombia. Heroin comes from the seed of an opium poppy. The seed is planted and harvested after 3 months. When harvested, the seed pods are sliced. This releases a milky substance that turns dark and sticky. This is raw opium. When the substance is extracted, it is mixed with hot water. This mixture releases the key ingredient it needs, morphine. Various chemicals from calcium oxide to hydrochloric acid are added. Several days later, the morphine base is dried and turned into the powder that is heroin. Cartels smuggle heroin into America any way possible. The most common way the drug breaches borders is by being hidden in plain sight. American interstates provide easy movement of the drug across the country. Distributors and dealers are located in various cities in every state. Heroin use has increased over the years, in part because it can be purchased on the street for as little as $5. In 2014, CNN reports that there were more than 10,000 heroin-related deaths. The number is expected to increase because traffickers are now mixing the drug with an illegal synthetic form of the painkiller fentanyl. Tune in tomorrow for part 3. We will sit down with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department to discuss more about fentanyl and the overall effects of heroin on the Las Vegas community. For Studio G, I'm Samantha Rose Keomalu.
We will also be sitting down with Jamie Ross from PAC Coalition to talk about prevention programs in Southern Nevada.
Coming up, we take a look at what's going on around the valley. We'll be right back.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
Boy Miles Low.
It's your girl Scribe Cash.
My name's Fabian Stefan.
Perpetual Player One.
And I'm your host, Brandy the Prince Madison.
My name is Haley Rogers.
From the Miles Low Midweek Show.
The Scribe Cash radio show.
You can listen to Pixel Jam.
Press start to play.
And this is The Takeover.
Rock on Rebel.
On KUNV-HD2.
From the rebelhd2.com.
Welcome back, Rebels. Summer seems like it's on its way with high temperatures for the rest of the week. But let's have a look and see what Timey has got to tell us. What have you got, Timey?
Hello, ladies, and welcome everyone to the weather segment. Today we're having great temperature. We are in the 82 right now, the highest 93 and the low 70. But this luck doesn't go to everyone right now. As you can see in the picture coming up, there Arkansas, Missouri, Texas, they're having heavy flooding right now, storms, leaving 20 people dead. As you can see, this is a bridge and you can barely see it and you cannot even drive to it. Let's take a look at the rest of the valley here. Well, actually the week. Right now, tomorrow 97, we're going up. The temperature's 100 on Friday, but again, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend is gonna go low 86, 73, and the 70s. In the rest of the valley right now, we have 80s temperatures in the rest of the valley. The lowest right now, Boulder City is with 83, and the highest, North Las Vegas with 86. Here at UNLV, 84. Right now it's sunny. The wind speed is only 60 miles per hour and the humidity 12%, so it's not that bad. But in the night, we are gonna have 69, mostly clear, wind speed 5 miles per hour. The rest of the country right now, Florida having beautiful weather, 83, similar to ours. Los Angeles right now, 85. Las Vegas, 92, like I said, in the 80s, low 90s. In the east right now, New York, 62. But I mean, as you can see, the rest of the country, they're having great temperature. We feel really bad for Missouri and Arkansas and Texas having that difficulties right now. And we are going back with you, ladies. What do you have for us?
Thanks, Timey. Let's take a look at some of the biggest headlines in the Valley.
A bill may allow Nevada veterans and military members under 21 to be able to get a concealed firearm permit. The bill keeps all other requirements for applicants looking for a concealed firearm permit. According to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the qualifications in Las Vegas include the successful completion of an approved firearms course, residency of Clark County, and being 21 years of age or older. According to the Review Journal, if the bill passes, applicants would need to show authorities their military identification or discharge documentation that shows they were honorably discharged. The Senate Judiciary Committee heard the bill on Monday without taking any action.
A subcommittee approved $1.8 million to equip some correctional officers with body cameras and install stationary cameras at 7 prisons on Tuesday. It would fund purchases of 71 body cameras and 312 stationary cameras. Additional funds will also be used for additional internet bandwidth that is required at the High Desert State Prison, Ely State Prison, and Lovelock Correction Center.
A man died while performing at a Henderson theater. Kent Stork was 10 minutes into his lead performance in Art of Murder when he suffered a heart attack on stage. According to his son Zach, who told the Review Journal, acting on stage was meant to be his retirement hobby. 9 hours after his death, his second grandchild was born in the same hospital. He was supposed to celebrate his 67th birthday on Tuesday. Stork is survived by his wife, 2 sisters, 2 sons, and 2 grandchildren.
3 women protested outside of a Trader Joe's on Monday, but wait, it was done out of love. The women were trying to gather 300 emails to send to the corporation in order to keep the Decatur store open or relocate to a different location. According to a Trader Joe's spokeswoman, the Decatur location is looking to close because the center that houses the store is no longer a place where they feel they should operate. The Decatur store will reopen in Centennial Hills in northwest Las Vegas this summer.
An eyesore on the Strip may be soon covered up. According to a Clark County spokeswoman, the Fontainebleau plans to wrap part of the unfinished hotel. The blue and white wrap will cover the bottom 3 stories of the resort, which faces West Las Vegas Boulevard. Clark County approved the permit for the wrap on Monday and requires work to begin within 180 days.
Thousands of people called Las Vegas home, but beneath the bustling Strip are those that live underground in flood channels. Reporter Nicole Soto followed Matt O'Brien, author of Beneath the Neon, into one of these tunnels for a look at what it's like to live in the city's underground.
When you think of the Las Vegas Strip, people think of lights, glitz, and glamour. What people don't think about are the hundreds that live in complete darkness just underneath the neon lights.
This tunnel, like a month ago, had probably 10 to 15 people living in it, but Metro came down recently and bulldozed everything. They had the county bulldoze everything, and then they cleared everyone out. So I figured people would have started trickling back in by now, but it looks like Metro's probably coming back almost daily to make sure no one's in here.
That's Matt O'Brien, author and journalist, best known for his book Beneath the Neon, that documents the homeless living in the Las Vegas underground.
I mean, these people, they live real life. This ain't no easy life. This ain't no 9-to-5 job. You go to work every day and get to come home. You got to survive every day here, and it ain't just. And it's hard because you got to fight the businesses. You got to fight Metro mainly. But now the mayor declared zero tolerance on homelessness.
It's pretty rough. Yeah. But it's survivable.
I'm like, all right, well, where are we supposed to go? Don't go over there. Okay, but where are we supposed to go? There's no place for us to.
O'Brien dedicates his time every 2 weeks to reach out to the homeless. He started a nonprofit to help those living in the tunnels.
I have a community project called Shine a Light. It's very grassroots. It's me just trying to do anything I can to help anyone down in these tunnels. That could be giving out bottled water. It could be escorting social workers down here. You know, I'm emailing with the people who live down here, or messaging on Facebook, or talking to people who have gotten out. I think we're right beneath the Strip, you know, right? And it's dark and gray and wet, and right above us, you know, there's the polished lobbies, and people are gambling, you know, thousands of dollars. It's crazy, yeah.
Reporting for Studio G, I'm Nicole Soto.
Metro has been cracking down on the homeless in this tunnel, but according to Anthony, they will take it over again soon.
This year's CSUN Executive Board elections is likely to be one of the most controversial to be seen on this campus. James Schaefer has this story to submit.
The following story has been worked on for the past 6 weeks and was made with serious caution of statement and confirmed with the accounts of multiple student government personnel on the record as sources. This semester, our student government flirted with turmoil but never made the serious commitment. Back in early March of this year, CSUN held the primary election for our executive board. That's our president, vice president, and senate president. Through leaks, tips, and statements from a variety of sources within the student government, a worrying fact reared its ugly head on the other side of our university election. An election that this news program finds was completely and utterly fraudulent. Between March 9th and 10th of 2017, CSUN began taking ballots from students voting for the executive board of our student government. A few days after the election, however, a troubling issue came to light. Students who had voted electronically for the executive board reported issues with their votes. Students who went to vote were being thanked via email for submitting their votes. Votes that they themselves did not submit. After this, Attorney General Christian Ogata began an investigation into the reported voting issue.
I received a call from our advisor, Savannah Baltera, and I was called into the office. From there, myself, Savannah, and the Director of Operations, Don Matus, all spoke about what was happening. I had been informed that there was potential voter irregularity happening, given a lot of things that had happened. So our Director Matus had a couple people come forward and say they couldn't vote in the election. Following that, we started looking into the voting record and noticing that votes were coming in seconds after one another, all for the same ticket. And so we were looking into that. Our advisor started calling people who had received votes or who had votes cast and asking them if they had cast that vote. Several of them had not, so he received email correspondence back from them.
After finishing his investigation, Ogata presented his investigation case to the CSUN Supreme Court, where he advocated for the primary election to be invalidated.
The votes that were coming in large groups and were coming in all minutes and seconds after each other were for the same ticket. All highlight the inescapable conclusion that this election must be invalidated. The CSUN Constitution states that CSUN members shall have the right to vote in elections, which is the Bill of Rights, Section 5.
You made two essential conclusions. The first was to invalidate the election, and the second was to change over the voting system. What were the issues that you found with the voting system, the Campus Labs voting system, and why did you want to change over to the ACE username and password system?
The ACE ID, using your ACE account is a lot more secure because that's a password that you create for yourself. It's a lot more difficult to have. Students wouldn't have access, or any person for whatever reason would not have access to a large list of those. So if by chance there was potential that was happening or somebody needed that, it would be much harder for students to do that, or for anybody to do that for that matter. With the Campus Labs voting system, all that was needed was an entry number, which is a lot less secure than using your whole ACE account, which is what you have to use to log onto the computers and stuff.
After this decision, Ogata handed down the investigation to the General Counsel Office of the University President, which awaits to be given to the UNLV Police. In an earnest interest to find out what was found in Ogata's investigation, Studio G submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to be granted information for the purpose of informing the public. But the investigation is currently being compiled for UNLV Police by General Counsel, who is working with the Student Conduct Office. This qualifies as an exemption to the FOIA request. Its time in office, however, has not boasted for a quick turnover to UNLV Police. Students that are voted into CSUN office on campus are considered civil employees. Because of this, the Executive Board election is technically considered a public election. This means election fraud on campus can be prosecuted as a Class D felony, which would result in $5,000 minimum in fines or 1 to 4 years in prison, a sentence that no university would want to inflict on any student. Which leads us to this question. UNLV Police is still waiting the handing down of the investigation case, a case that might pursue a university student with a felony. It is the question of this reporter. If this case is something the university wants to pursue, if the outcome is a student felon, one that might be from student government, we have yet to get our answer, but will persist with the UNLV Police as well as the General Counsel Office of the President. But the story of a potential felon is not where the story ends, but rather where it begins. In our second part, we will continue our story with a student government member who is potentially responsible for the election invalidation and what one leaked email has to show about why they knew that this election was susceptible to fraud since last semester.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, part 2 of the election fraud investigation on campus. We'll be right back.
Center. Anyone from the Las Vegas community is welcome. We can get more people into the nutrition center, get them more educated, then they can learn what ways to prevent chronic diseases and to become healthier individuals. All classes are held in BHS building, Bigelow Health Sciences, room 212, and the times vary, but you could always check them at the UNLV calendar or UNLV Today, and all the classes, times, and descriptions are available there.
Welcome back, and thanks for sticking with us. Now we go back to part 2 of James Schaefer's story.
understand who and what was the reason for the CSUN Student Government Executive Board election and invalidation, one must look at the events of this year, in fact, just last semester, to see who was in charge, but more importantly, who knew that a fraudulent election was just on the horizon since last semester. In a leaked email that was given over text, a member of the CSUN Election Committee cited that the voting system was susceptible to fraudulent votes and advocated for candidates and students to not commit voter fraud. The person that saw this concern, Don Matus.
Quite frankly, because the Senate election went so smoothly, I didn't think it was necessary for the executive election. In hindsight, I should have probably looked into it. So it wasn't a punishment. It was just saying, there's no way for us to be absolutely 100% secure with any online system. So calm down. I was just warning people, calm down. You're going to make it worse if you freak out.
Do you at all, or can you say at all, who sent this text or email?
This was from me.
Oh, okay. This concern, being sounded off since last semester, is now seen as a Nostradamus-like prediction of the issues of this semester when our primary election was invalidated due to fraudulent votes. But that concern was not monogamous to just last semester. The day of the election, an email titled "It's Election Day" was sent out to all candidates warning of a rumor. The email went on saying this, that a candidate, someone connected to a ticket has a list of NSHI IDs and plans on using them to vote multiple times. Please do not cheat. Please do not try to cheat. We will shut online voting down and switch over to the Involvement Center where most people cannot vote due to the ACE ID issue we ran into last year. The rumor in the email was said to be the existence of a list of NSHI IDs that a candidate or student could use to give themselves a handful of votes in order to put themselves over the top or make another candidate look like they are cheating. Then I'm going to show you a document about the election that went out the night prior. We're just going to go over the material in it. Did you send this email? Is this a false email?
No, I did send it. Like I said, I try to think the best of everybody. So I didn't fully, based on who it was coming from, I was just like, okay, he's crying wolf, he's freaking out a little bit, I don't think it's going to happen. I think everybody's going to be above board. This seems to be a good group of candidates we have. So but at the same time, I wanted to put the warning out there. That's why I had this. That's why I emailed out saying, please do not cheat.
But a more important issue remains. If there was a concern about the system being susceptible to fraudulent votes, why was the system not changed back to the ACE password voting system, a system that was much more secure? That's the question we asked to the person who could have made that change in the first place, Don Matus. Do you feel that the system of ACE username and ACE password, which was the system that we were kind of, as far as we know, was safe and secure and all that, we used it for the matter of convenience and for the matter of people being able to vote. Do you feel it is an apt comparison to say that safety and security was sacrificed for convenience?
Yeah, I would say that. Again, it's hindsight. People did need to log in with their ACE ID, or not their ACE ID, their NSHI numbers, and you just don't assume that people are going to gather NSHI numbers or try and generate lists of NSHI numbers and do something like that. I mean, it takes a special kind of low person to want to do something like that. So, and I don't think that low. So perhaps I should change that thinking, but I don't know. I tried to look on the bright side of everything.
If there was any question if Don Matus didn't know that anyone's going to rig the election, one shocking revelation in a statement Don told us put that theory to rest. But was there anyone at the time, including you, that felt that the voting system faced a potential risk of being rigged?
It's interesting you ask that, because it's the same person that came to me the night before the election, or emailed both myself and Savannah. And then later I talked to this person and he was like, yeah, I had this plan, doll. I had a plan in place. I created a plan as soon as I found out how easy it was to cheat both of these elections. And I'm just like, you really shouldn't have told me that. And he's like, I didn't do it because I have the support out here to, and I'm just like, so I knew that there were people who were already planning for it. Whether or not that person actually followed through with it, no, that's purely conjecture, and
We still don't know who was responsible for submitting the fraudulent votes. As far as this reporter knows, there are multiple students blaming each other for a tizzy of things pertaining to the election invalidation. But here is the important thing to keep in mind. The fraudulent votes that were cast were not caused by an electronical error or technical malfunction. Someone at this university purposely casted these votes. It is our hope that this report will urge the General Counsel Office to streamline the investigation to UNLV police instead of having it die on a desk. The person or persons who committed the potential felony are still unnamed and may still be on this campus, or more importantly, within our student government. James Schaefer, Studio G.
Studio G will keep this story going into this week if any new information comes to light. For all things election fraud, stay with Studio G.
Vanessa Chan spoke on our show last week about police violence across the nation. Studio G reporter Ashley Renan caught up with her during a panel discussion held at the UNLV Center for Social Justice.
On New Year's Eve in 2015, 23-year-old Keith Childress Jr. was shot 5 times by Las Vegas Metropolitan Police officers while standing in a neighborhood driveway. Childress Jr. died on the scene. He was also unarmed. According to Vanessa Chan, founder of the Forced Trajectory Project, between 3 to 5 people die every single day as a result of police brutality. I caught up with Chan inside of the Housel's house at UNLV for a themed discussion about police violence.
Nationwide, it's 3 to 4 to 5 people per day, which is around 1,000 to 1,500 people per year. Multiply that by 200. That's how many people have been killed in the last 200 years by police. Before that, it was lynching, right? Messaging is really important. We have to put positive vibes in the ether, right? We have to, when we want good things to happen, we have to manifest.
Chan discussed looking at police violence through a public health lens, and among the attendees was Jacqueline Lawrence, mother of the late Keith Childress Jr.
The first thing we did was just get in a car and try to get here to see if it was him. But when I did find out that was him, I just had to sit on it. I didn't know what to do.
Lawrence took a moment to speak about her son, but could not fight back some of the emotions she was feeling.
He said I was going to do this today. Keith was a very happy person, really happy person who really loved life. He was very adventurous. He was the type of person that when he came in a room, he just lit the whole room up. Loved to smile. He was the one, if you were sad, he could always make you happy.
Chan, Lawrence, and other members of the Forced Trajectory Project plan on hosting their next conference in Detroit in an effort to spread one clear message. There are countless stories of police violence across the nation, and groups like Chan's are here to listen. Reporting for Studio G, I'm Ashley Renan.
To learn more about Chan's project, police violence, or to become involved, visit foresttrajectory.com.
When people hear the word prison, orange jumpsuits, handcuffs, and bars come to mind, but definitely not babies. The Decatur Correctional Center in Illinois is celebrating the 10th year anniversary of a nursery program. The program allows incarcerated women that are mothers spend time with their babies as well as continue a bond. There are currently 5 mothers and 6 babies who are part of the program. Warden Shelth Hansbrough explains more.
This program is a program that allows mothers to create and maintain lasting bonds with their children. That's so very important in terms of keeping women from becoming reincarcerated.
What an amazing way to let mothers spend quality time with their newborns.
Thanks for watching Studio G. Be sure to follow us on social media at UNLV Studio. I'm Jessica Vargas.
And I'm Jamie Poole. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Studio G.